Hey, how's it going everybody? Back with another TF2 discussion on the soldier, more specifically the direct hit. And this is probably one of my favourite weapons, and one that I always seem to use. It's a weapon that takes a little while to get used to, but with enough practice it can become so powerful. So the direct hit was one of the first weapons to be added for the soldier. It's been around for nearly 6 years now, and other than a few minor tweaks, it's been relatively untouched. I think it's a great weapon which provides the soldier with the ability to deal incredible damage and have a little more diversity, which is always something that a new item should do. But when I come across soldiers in pubs, it's actually quite rare to see them use this. The majority will run the stock or the black box, which are easily the most popular primaries, and with good reason too. The black box gives a good amount of health, which in a pub, where medics are rather scarce, is extremely useful. And the stock's high damage and large explosion make it always a strong choice. But I really think the direct hit deserves to be one of the popular choices too. Just because with enough practice, this weapon can deal insane amounts of damage, and be able to wipe an entire team. Before using this weapon, it's wise just to get used to the fast projectile speed. Having to hit the enemy directly means your aim prediction really has to be good, so I recommend practicing TI walkway. This goes for any weapon that has new or different mechanics. Casually practicing killing bots really helps out your aim a lot, and I really find it quite relaxing to do so too. Killing bots over and over really gets you into a rhythm, and you can easily translate this into a proper match. So I should probably discuss why I like this weapon so much. Well, first off, the extra damage means that you're able to do a maximum of 140 damage at point blank range, meaning that spies and scouts that love to get up close to you could be taken down in one shot, and with the faster projectile speed means that you can land your shots much more easily. Additionally, if you're ambushed by a pyro, the faster projectile speed makes air blasting rockets almost impossible to react to, especially from close ranges, which means pyros will have to rely solely on instinct and prediction, which really stops them from being as effective. At longer range, snipers and engineers can be killed with just 2 or 3 shots. Snipers are usually obliviously scoped in, and engineers that are stuck behind the sentry can easily be picked off with little time to react. Speaking of sentries, it's probably one of the best weapons to get rid of any building. Level 3 sentries, dispensers and teleporters all have 216 health, meaning that 2 shots from the direct hit can take down any building, and with nearly double the projectile speed of any other rocket launcher, gives the engineer very little time to react. For mini sentries, which are personally something I hate, they can be taken down with just 1 shot, whereas any other rocket launcher would have to use 2 rockets, making it probably the best weapon to counter them as a soldier. One of my favourite things I like to do with the direct hit, which I think makes it a little too powerful, is when it's used in synergy with the buff banner. A strategy I like to use is just to hang back and spam rockets into crowds, and just gradually charge at the banner. Once it's full, as you'll see often in this vid, I'll charge forward and try to do as much damage as possible. With the banner active, the minimum you will do is 152 points of damage, allowing you to one-shot 5 of the 9 classes in the game. Being able to kill a medic with potentially full uber in 1 shot from any distance is an incredibly strong feature, which is why whenever I use the direct hit, I usually pair it with the buff banner. If you're not a fan of the buff banner, using the shotgun is a great alternative too. The direct hit isn't the most safe weapon to use in terms of getting hits. I still find myself missing all 4 rockets occasionally, so don't be afraid to equip the shotguns just for something to fall back on. The other backpacks are also a great choice. The extra survivability they give you allows you to close the gap with enemies, and make landing those rockets much easier. Really, it's best just to find out what's secondary suits your playstyle, so try each one out. So what are the downsides to the direct hit? With any alternative weapon, there are always downsides, and the direct hit is no exception. The severely smaller explosion radius may not seem like too much of a big price to pay initially, considering you are supposed to get the direct hits, but in reality, it severely changes the way you play the soldier. Having no splash damage means that the soldier has to rely on fighting his enemies face to face in order to do any damage. With other rocket launchers, you're able to shoot for a splash, and you can jostle enemies around and make it exceptionally easier to land your next shots. It also means you can fight enemies that are around corners or not in sight of him, and also be much more effective when fighting groups of enemies. Additionally, when ubered or crits by a medic, stock is much better, the splash damage becomes much more lethal, whereas if you run the direct hit, you still have to aim precisely and hit them directly. Rocket jumping is also affected by the direct hit. Rocket jumping is by far the most powerful asset the soldier has. The ability to shoot down upon your enemies gives you a distinct advantage, making it both easier for you to hit them with splash damage, and makes it harder for them to hit you. The direct hit, having the height advantage doesn't help as much. You still have to hit them directly, and if anything, being above them just makes them a smaller target. Also, due to the faster projectile speed, it can mess up some rocket jumps, which are quite hard to adjust to. It's hard to describe exactly how the direct hit alters the soldier's playstyle. It's something you just realise when you play with it enough. Anyway, to sum up, it's a very effective but risky weapon. It doesn't suit every map. Some maps are going to make it tough to aim with this thing, but if you really want to piss off an engineer or just shoot down soldiers, this is the weapon. Anyway, thanks for watching, hopefully you learned something, and if you've got any questions or requests, feel free to leave them in the comments, because I'd love to hear your feedback. Take care guys.